Hey guys, Super Retro Kate here. Thought I'd make a little follow-up video to my GC Loader video because I got something in the mail today. So when you do your GC Loader install, you end up with just this board right here. But at laserbear.net, this guy sells a 3D printed piece, which arrived today. Let me just pull this out here. And he says that he's really backlogged, but this didn't take very long to get here. So what this is this is a SD card extender, which allows you to take your GC Loader and relocate it so that it's at the top. So when you pop open your CD-ROM, your SD card will be right here. So what I'm gonna do right now is I'm just gonna install this, and it looks like it doesn't come with any screws. It does have the required extension, but it doesn't have any screws for these screw posts. So fortunately, I have a bunch of 2mm screws here of different lengths, so I'm going to screw it into the bottom here. So right now I'm just going to tear down my Gamecube a little bit. Okay, so let's pop everything out here. I've done this enough times at this point. I'm going to take this out. I'm going to put my SD card inside of this guy, just like it'll sit. So that'll be super nice. Then I'm just going to make sure, so that's how it's supposed to go. But I need to get underneath here in order to have the screws come up from the bottom. And you could have it just sitting there, but I have the appropriate screws, so I'm gonna screw it in. Just pop that out. And I ordered this a few days ago, and I saw he was on Retro RGB's Writers Roundup a few days ago, and he was saying how backlogged he was. So I didn't think that I would receive it for quite a while, but I'm kind of surprised how quickly it arrived. So I'm just going to come through here, do all these screws. But this is, mounting it this way is something that they've been doing with like the wasps for a long time. They would just kind of hot glue the SD card vertically, and they would just kind of like cut out where the laser was on the CD-ROM drive. But now it's nice that there's something just as accessible, that it's not using hot glue and it's more stable. It's not sacrificing a CD-ROM drive. He also has a very similar solution for the Dreamcast and the optical drive emulator, the GDMU. Those can be purchased on laserbear.net as well. I'm just going to keep tearing down my Gamecube here until I can get to the underside of this aluminum. Just have a few more screws in the back. And it feels like it's really good quality. Sometimes 3D printed stuff can seem kind of kind of janky. But this is nice and smooth. I wonder if he grounds them down or polishes them after he's done, or maybe he just has that nice a printer since he has a whole store based on 3D printing stuff. Okay, so what I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to move the GameCube out of here. I'm going to take this and feed my SD card in here. So I'm thinking trying to see what would be the best way to do this. Maybe do that. Yeah, the mount has to do a little bend, so it's not the prettiest thing. I don't think it'll ultimately matter though. And then it looks like there's 4 screw posts. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to find 4 of these of a similar length. Not sure how long I should go. I think that's probably... Okay, there's 3. And here's a 4th. I think these will be a good length. So I'm just going to line this up. And then, I'm just going to start with one of them. Yeah, and these are going to be a pain to get in here. I have a little precision screwdriver here. Probably the easier way to do this would be if you came down with one of these from the top, and then if you had a washer to put on it underneath. But I'm going to use these and just come up from the bottom. Let's see here. That doesn't seem to want to go in very well. So let's take this out. I'm going to see about just pre-threading it. Yeah, these really don't want to go in. They go in no problem, but they don't go in very far, so I think I'm going to want to use a lot shorter ones. I'm going to go to these real short guys. Ugh. It's tough pulling the ones you want out of the bag here. There we go. So I got 4 really short ones, but one of them's a little longer. Oh. And I just dropped one on the floor to step on later. Let's see if I can find that. I'll find that when I'm done. Oh, just found it. Okay. So I'm gonna take this, feed it through here. Go like that. Get it where I want it. Flip it over. Oh. Oh. Okay, I got the first one. Now let's try to get a second one. I'm just coming up from the underside, putting my little screws in here, using very short 2mm screws. They might be 2mm long. And I'm doing 4 of them here. I'm trying not to push on anything too hard since it is a 3D printed mold, or since it is a 3D printed piece. Is there a hole there? Yeah. There we go. Now I just screw this in. Try not to put too much strain on the SD card. So now I got this guy nice and secure. So I'll just put my SD card back in here. Take my GameCube, put it back up here, fit it over top, and I'm going to put my ribbon cable back in for my GC loader. Make sure everything's even. Just pop the latch down. Then I'm going to put it back together. The top of this is really nice. Kind of did a little texture on the top. Looks really nice. And there's two versions. There's a bunch of different colors of this 3D printed mount you can get. And there's also a version that has slots for more to hold like a couple spare SD cards. I chose to just go with this one that only holds one SD card, and I did that because I thought it was cleaner. Plus, with GC Loader allowing you to have SD cards up to 1 terabyte, I didn't think it was really necessary. So I'm going to get all my screws in here. But this will be kind of nice. This will be nice because it'll just make it look more factory, and you won't have to reach in there to get your SD card out if you want to change what games are on it or are on your SD card, or if you want to update your firmware or your version of Swiss or GBI. So I'm just going through here and putting all my screws back in. And I'm going to put this screw back in the bag. Make sure there's no other ones. Yeah, so if anyone's wondering, it comes with the SD card extender, but it did not come with the screws to affix it to the aluminum chassis. It also came with an awesome Laser Bear Industry sticker, and it came with some gummy bears, which is pretty cool. And I'm not sure if you would need to screw this into the chassis. Like when you have it together, it might sit in place either way. But if you think about it and get the screws ahead of time, or if you have the screws laying around, I would screw it into the chassis like I did, just to make it more stable. And I've also tried his GameCube fan mount, but that didn't really work out for me. When I would screw it down, it would have a little bit of spacing in it where the power button wouldn't work consistently. And I messaged him about that, and he said that that's a known problem, so he's probably fixed it by now. But I ended up just sticking with sticking with the stock, you know, fan mount that I modified to put an aftermarket fan in it. Because I'd already done it to my GameCubes before he came out with his 3D printed part. Because there was someone on the GC Forever forums who had what fan they used and stuff, so I already had done it. So now I'm gonna hook my power back up, put my back plate on, put my front back on, then I'm going to put my lid back on. Probably pay a little extra attention to this when I do this now, just because I want to make sure that that matches up. And that seemed to go perfectly. I'm going to flip it over. And I'm going to do my 4 game bit screws. I'm going to go crisscross. And I should say this mount was $25 from Laser Bear with free shipping, and it arrived very quickly. Seems to be very high quality. I'm gonna put my SD to SP2 back in here, even though I haven't used it yet. I don't know if I'll ever actually use it, but I thought it was cool. So now here's my GC Loader GameCube with the 3D printed part. So now the SD card is easily accessible. I have a 128 gig card in here right now. Feels nice, it fits perfectly. None of the buttons are obstructed or anything. So this is Super Retrocade. Just kind of showing you the Laser Bear Industries 3D printed SD card mount for the GC Loader. I also have another one of these coming, and I'm going to see if I can do the same thing with a Wasp Custom, just for this clean look. So maybe I'll make another video about that. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching.